Silence.
Your Excellencies, members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you back to the resumed 474th meeting of the Committee on Enforced Disappearances. We will continue our constructive dialogue with the Kingdom of Cambodia at this stage, and I will give the floor for 45 minutes to the delegation to respond to the questions from the rapporteurs. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and good morning to Mr. Chair and our distinguished delegates and members of the committee. We look forward again to having a constructive dialogue with you, and we are honored with the opportunity to have this constructive dialogue today. I will start with Ms. Lockbiller's questions. And I have here in my notes the first question regarding non-refoulement. On non-refoulement, Cambodia recognizes its obligations. As mentioned yesterday, within our constitution, specifically Article 31, we recognized the UN Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, as well as other international human rights treaties. And our non-refoulement obligations are also enshrined in various parts of domestic law. As stated in the state report, there's no one place that explicitly says it, but for example, the law on mutual assistance on criminal matters, Article 10, states that the central authority shall refuse the request of a requesting state under any of the following conditions. And you will see that at point 5, it will say there is sufficient reliable ground to believe that if the request is implemented, the person will encounter torture. So there are these principles, provisions, concepts sprinkled out in Cambodia's domestic law. Now, while there are no specific mechanisms and criteria codified to verify and assess, nevertheless, as mentioned, Cambodia does recognize its obligations, and in practice, the authorities do analyze before there is any activity of expulsions, deportations, or extraditions. On this topic, the question was also whether an appeal can be lodged to suspend the effect of expulsions, deportations, or extraditions. And on this, I'd like to hand over the floor to my colleague, Excellency Kirin from the Ministry of Justice. Thank you.
Very good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Excellency, Head of Brigade, ladies and gentlemen, and member of committee. As we Head of Brigade mentioned about the issue of expulsion and extradition, we, under Cambodian law, come up with the extradition. Normally, we prioritize to implement the international treaty if we have ratified. So, except we don't have the international treaty, we will follow whatever mentioned in the criminal procedure code. How to, we have a comprehensive procedural and also substantial rule governing the extradition. And in such a case, when we come up with the, to look at whether we will extradite or not, we can refer to the bilateral treaty. So normally, we, Cambodian may also consider whether extradite that person will be affect their rights and also related to the enforced disappearance. And when the process is, normally when there is a request, Ministry of Justice will be review the regularity of the request and send this request to the General Prosecutor of the Appeal Court. Appeal Court will be submit that request for review by the Criminal Chamber of the Court of Appeal in Phnom Penh, and the investigative chamber of the Appeal Court will be review the request, provide an opinion, and also this will provide a due process between the extradited wanted person to highlight and to also to challenge in terms of justify whether the extradition is applicable or not. And after that, the investigating chamber of the Appeal Court will be provide opinion, and then this opinion will be subject to be appealed at the Supreme Court as well. So we do have the system of appeal at the Supreme Court to consider whether to provide extradition or not. So it's a kind of comprehensive legal framework and mechanism to protect the person subject to be extradition. So this is the I think a brief procedural process in relation to extradition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency Gideon. Ms. Lobbler also mentioned regarding mutual legal assistance, and she also mentioned human trafficking. So before going into human trafficking, I do just want to provide just a very brief general framework regarding the process and the law on mutual legal assistance in criminal matters before passing the floor on to Excellency Isoki from the Ministry of Interior. So on our legal framework regarding mutual legal assistance, we have two main legal frameworks that applies to Cambodia. First is the ASEAN Treaty on Mutual Assistance, and this is our mutual legal assistance in criminal matters that applies to the 10 ASEAN countries, the countries of Southeast Asia. And just briefly, if you looked at the scope of the assistance within Article 1, it states that the parties shall, in accordance with this treaty, subject to their own domestic laws, render to one another the widest possible measure of mutual legal assistance in criminal matters, namely investigations, prosecutions, and resulting proceedings. Okay. And we also have our own domestic law on mutual legal assistance in criminal matters, in which the scope applies for legal assistance in the criminal matters to be provided to all requesting states, even if they don't have an agreement with the Kingdom of Cambodia. And so how this is implemented is Cambodia is open to assisting and receiving assistance on criminal matters with various countries, and that this is enshrined in our own domestic legal framework as well. I'd like to pass the floor on to my colleague to elaborate more on this legal framework.
Cambodian, we have, as Head of Delegate mentioned, we have treaty on mutual legal assistance in the framework of the ASEAN cooperation. We proceed and progress a lot of work in terms of harmonization, how to provide service in terms of providing mutual legal assistance in criminal matter, because we consider it's important to combating and preventing the transnational crime, because the transnational crime is very challenging. Besides the security issue, traditional security, but this is non-traditional security. So that's why ASEAN is working together, and when I am one of the working group in the ASEAN to formalize the template for mutual legal assistance in criminal matter. So we working hand in hand with our member of the community of the ASEAN in order to produce facility and also to provide legal assistance in criminal matter. in come up to with this, we have extradition. So as His Excellency mentioned, we have bilateral treaty, and also now in the framework of the Asian community, I mean we are drafting, elaborating also a treaty on extradition among the Asian member states. And actually, I could share with you that I'm one member of the working from Cambodian. So after this mission, I will fly to ASFIC. I will fly to Jakarta for the 8th meeting for discussing on the draft of the extradition among Asian members. So just only to share. So we work hand in hand in order to have a comprehensive cooperation in criminal matter. Because when we have a comprehensive cooperation in criminal issue, we need to have 3 kinds of treaty. The first one is treaty on mutual legal assistance. Second one is extradition, and the last one is the transfer of prisoner, transfer of prisoner. We will discuss on this as well, but it takes time because some member country would not like to go ahead with the transfer of prisoner. But in Cambodian, we do have bilateral agreement, especially among the neighbor country, Vietnamese, Laos, we discuss, and also we have around 10 treaty to review and also to adopt. As myself, I'm the head of the working group to look at this. So this is what we can share with you, and also to show that it's our commitment in order to combat the transnational crime that is very challenging in terms of non-traditional security, not for the world, but also for the region and also for Cambodia itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. And so with that context in mind, I'd like to pass the floor to His Excellency Isoki from the Ministry of Interior for Excellency to discuss the measures and how Cambodia has combated human trafficking so far. Excellency, please.
Respected delegates, under the wise leader of I will explain on the combating against the human trafficking for Cambodia. This issue have been considered highly from our government. We have built laws on human trafficking and human trafficking that have been put into force in 2006, and this law have been made an amendment in 2008, which have created a new law on combating human trafficking and sexual exploitation. That this law is compliant with the United Nations on the prevention and persecution of human trafficking, especially on women and children. Apart from our law and legal provisions, Cambodia have measures that our government have prepared on the National Human Trafficking Committee. In short, Gocho Bocho. These national measures on combating human trafficking that have 23 ministries and 5 agents on the National Police Department, on the military and National Human Trafficking Committee that lead by the Ministry of Interior, that have the secretary as. We have divided into cross-ministerial 6 ministries. One is the group that lead by the Ministry of Education and Sports. Working group on the legal implementation. 3, working group on judicial that lead by the Ministry of Justice. 4th, working group on the support to victims, lead by Ministry of Social Affairs. 5th, sixth, working group on international cooperation, lead by the Ministry of Women's Affairs. These 6 institutions have involved from the civil society, from national and international participation. National Human Trafficking Committee have the framework under the national level and under the national level. That is led by the provincial and national leaders. This national committee have 5 years of plan, and in relevant working group under the national. Our 5 years plan, 2024, 2026, 2028, are working in preparing in order to implement the national plan from 2019 to 2023. As a result, from our implementation on the human trafficking from 2016 to 2023, Department on Human Trafficking and the National Police, Ministry of Interior and the police, who is competent for the implementation of the law, have followed the human trafficking case and sexual exploitation. In total, 1,329 cases that have arrested the criminal. In total, 1,866. In that number, there are 900 women and 168 minors and 179 foreigners. And put the victim out of risk. Put the victim out of risk, 4,238 persons, which involve 2,737 women who are under 15 years old, 170 person. 1,024 persons from 15 to 17 years old, 433 people, and above 18, 2,000. In that number, case of human trafficking have been arrested of 400 case. Arrested the suspect 804 persons, women 200. In that case, 221 and 161 foreigners, and put the victim out of risk. Under 15 years old, 235. From 15 to 17, 219 persons, and above 18, 2,557. On the case of sexual exploitation, we have arrested 891 people and arrested 1,077 persons. In that case, minor 147 persons and 115 foreigners, and bring the victim out of the risk. Under 15 years old, 789 persons. From 15 to 17 years old, 214 persons, and above 18, 724 persons. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Just a very brief recap. So for Cambodia, we have a national committee that has been established to crack down on human trafficking, recognizing that it is an issue. And as Excellency Izuka mentioned from the Ministry of Interior, he has provided you with the statistics. We are also happy to provide these statistics in writing after the meeting if you request so, so that you could have the numbers with you. Allow me to move on to our policies and on migration and with respect to migrants. For this, I pass the floor to Excellency Rada, a member of the Cambodia Human Rights Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Head of Delegation. Regarding the migrant workers, I would like to inform the meeting that in order to contribute the protection and promotion and management of the migrant worker, the Royal Government of Cambodia has adopted relevant policies, programs, and strategic plans as follows. The policy of platform and rectangular strategy for growth, employment, equity, and efficiency, phase 4 of the Royal Government in the 6th legislature of the National Assembly. The National Strategy Development Plans 2019 to 2023, National Security Social Protection Policy Framework 2016 to 2025, Strategic Plan for Employment and Vocational Training Development 2019 to 2023, National Employment Policy 2015-2025, National Technical and Vocational Education Training Policy 2017-2025, and the last one is the Decent Work Country Program for Cambodia 2019-2025. 23. The national legal framework pursuant to the spirit of the Constitution of the Kingdom of Cambodia, the Chapter 3 on the rights and duty of the Cambodian people and the labor law. The royal government of Cambodia has adopted many registration, effectively strengthening the management of the labor migration. Further, I would like to emphasize that the strategic plan on the employment, social security, and vocational training 2024-2018 that the government will raise awareness of the Cambodian citizens who intend to work abroad for their knowledge, for their rights, and we have a tracking system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency Rara. I'd like to now pass the floor to Excellency Garin to explain briefly on our measures with respect to cross-border disappearances.
So as we used to highlight yesterday regarding the statistic of disappearance, but in terms of cross-border cooperation among the neighboring country, we work hand in hand with those countries in terms of the LVC, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodian, to tackle not only cooperation in terms of economic development, but also security, to combat the transnational crime, as I highlight previously, not only in the level of ASEAN, but also for the neighboring country. So we have a joint committee between those countries in order to share the information, share experience as well, and also to share the best practice in terms of combating international crime, to understand each other legal system in criminal matter, in order to have a close cooperation to implement those action plan. So this is just only give you a brief example. Even we have a joint committee meeting among those countries, and also we have a seminar workshop from different background in terms of how to implement the criminal code, and also the preventing to prevent and also to combating and punishing the offense, the criminal offense among the neighboring country. So this is just only highlights a brief of what is our cooperation in terms of cross-border cooperation in combating and preventing and punishing the transnational crime. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Article 17 of the Convention and the records or registration of persons deprived of liberty. We fully comply with our obligations in Article 17 in making sure that records of those persons deprived of liberty when entering or exiting places such as prisons or rehabilitation centers are properly recorded, especially along the lines of the information required to be recorded under the Convention. And on this note, I'd like to turn the floor to Lokchum Tiolong Sonita, Vice Chair of the Committee of Human Rights of Cambodia.
Thank you, Head of the Delegation. Concerning Article 17, related to the informations for detainees within prisons, as well as correctional facilities, as well as social services centers. The Kingdom of Cambodia, as the head of delegations has mentioned, we are acting in accordance with the law enforced to ensure that the persons deprived of liberty have their record and can have access to the lawyer and inform the family or any other persons of their preference regarding the deprivations of liberty. In the case of the foreign nationals, they can also communicate with the consular authorities. Concerning the record, we are working closely to ensure that all places where the persons may be deprived of liberty are held, including prisons and detention centers, correctional centers, as well as juvenile rehabilitations, along with drug addiction treatment, to receive drug addiction treatment and rehabilitation, as well as receiving their mental disorder care, are ensured with the utmost discretion, containing the information to be up to date and to be accessible when is required. In fact, we have compliance with the law on the registrations, ensuring that each person should have registration by identifying the persons and signed at every page by the representative of the prosecution. For juveniles and women, persons shall keep a specific register and pay particular attention to the treatment of both sexes. The register shall be checked by a representative of prosecutions and be submitted to any judge upon his or her request, as well as be shown to any judicial police officer who has been delegated with such power. The center is also called for to create a file for each prisoners, including the juveniles, and in ensuring that all the information and the documents are kept safely, up to date, and confidentially. For the list of types of categories of registrations, we actually have 10 books. Namely, the registration book for new detainees, 2, the registration book for charged person during a judicial investigation, 3, the registration book for accused person during the hearing, the registration book for convicted person during the announcements of judgment, but the judgment is not yet completed, as the convicted person can still appeal against the judgment, and 5, the registration book for a prisoner, 6, the registration book for the release of the charged person, as well as the book for release of the accused person and the convicted person, and 9, the registration book for the release of prisoners, and 10, the registration book for the detainees' visitors. Similar registration book is also kept for other facilities, namely the Social Service Center, Preisbu, as well as the correctional facilities. While the elements of these books are somewhat varies from each other, the Royal Government of Cambodia can assure the committee with utmost confidence that these registration book have incorporated the element listed in the Article 17 of the Conventions of the Protections of All Persons from Enforced Disappearances. Furthermore, the list of information can be requested upon when there is a request for the list of information. It shall be made available to the competent authorities, as well as the complainant. And we have also facilitate other activities to ensure that these records are being kept by the Cambodian Human Rights Committee, official or non-official visits to these centers to check whether that these books are being kept properly and updated. So with that, I return the floor back to the head of the delegation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to now move on to human rights training. And so I pass the floor to Excellency Rada to discuss on this topic.
Thank you again, the head of delegation, for the floor. In Cambodia, all public officials already receive law-related education and training and additional skill training. Public officials involved in law and human rights related matters have been highly encouraged to attend educational training course, seminar, lectures on key topics related to legal and human rights awareness. In order to promote and protect human rights, the Royal Government of Cambodia established a Cambodian Human Rights Committee as a division to assist in providing education and training in international human rights law and all education levels, including civil servant, law enforcement, official, and armed force. The Cambodian Human Rights Committee, called CHRC, have collaborated with ministry, departments involved, local authority, and other parties to organize human rights seminar in various provinces throughout through the country for the purpose of the mainstreaming and disseminating the principle of key national and international law and human rights principle and as stated in the human rights treaties. The Cambodian, the CHRC, as the human rights staff of the Royal Government of Cambodia, the Royal Government of the Kingdom of Cambodia has been supporting the Office of the High Commissioner of Human Rights, the CHR for Human Rights, the CHRC to Cambodia, that has requested to reinstate the inclusion of training on international human rights law in the curriculum to judicial students and prosecutors, which has been suspended for some time. In this regard, the CHRC will incorporate specific treaties such as the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance into the curriculum to provide training to the judge and the prosecutors. In addition, the CHRC will request the OHCHR in Cambodia to separately organize specific workshop on the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance for the other competent authorities such as administrative authority of detention center, medical staff, police, and military police. Further, during the past year, the CHRC has conducted 158 training on human rights and law, reaching 13,256 participants, including high school students and trainees of teacher training school, the general population, the local authority, in the purpose of raising awareness on the promotion and protection of human rights in Cambodia. Moreover, from 2017 to 2020, the President of His Excellency, President of the Cambodian Human Rights Committee, in person, he provided a human rights lecture 19 times. And in addition, from 2020 to 2023, the CHRC has conducted 8 workshops to disseminate national report related to International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, International Convention on Elimination of Racial Discrimination, and the Universal Periodic Review to the relevant parties. Thank you. Chair.
Thank you very much, Excellency. I'd like to now move on to Cambodia's legal framework and measures taken to ensure that those who are deprived of liberty are informed about their charges and their rights to have a lawyer. For this, I'd like to pass the floor to Excellency Kirin.
Once again, thank you, heads of delegation. I think our colleague have just highlighted how we record of the information when come up with those persons have been deprived of liberty. So I just only want to highlight in terms of when at the stage of the police custody. So normally, as you may aware that in Cambodian, the law shall protect life, honor, and dignity of the citizen. The prosecution, arrest, or detention of any person shall not be done except in accordance with the law. So this is provided in our constitution. The arrest and the detention shall be made in accordance with the law in force, such as the Criminal Procedure Code. Especially, we may refer to Article 96 and from Article 96 to Article 104 of the Criminal Procedure Code. So I would like to highlight that normally and respond to the need of investigation. The judicial police officer may detain any person who suspect of involved in offense, and they may also detain any person who may provide with the relevant fact of the following condition are met. The person who may be able to provide relevant fact but refuse to provide such information, and written authorization from the prosecutor for such detention. And I would like also to highlight that normally they can access to the lawyer. They have the right to have the lawyer. Normally when you arrest them, the judicial police need to mention their rights, right to be silent, right to have a lawyer as assistant. And in this regard, they have a kind of system of recording also if they arrest. So I would like to refer to Article 97, record of police custody, that the record shall be include the following information: the name and the rank of the judicial police officer who ordered detention, the identification of the detained person, the reason for the detention, the starting date and the time of the detention. This is important in order to record when if he is charged. So we will calculate the imprisonment from that times. The notification of the right provided in Article 19, I mean, as I highlighted previously, regarding assistance from the lawyer. Eventually, the name of the interpreter if needed, if, for example, they are foreigner. And then we have quite interesting also, we have, when the interview of those should be recorded with the assistance of the lawyer. And also, if they need, we provide also assistance of medical physician during the police custody to make sure that their physical condition is appropriate. If needed, they will send to the hospital in order to cure over there. And also, police custody of the minor, there is some specific information. And regarding the minor is criminal, we do have a law on juvenile justice, that is specific procedural to satisfy the requirement of that minor. So we have adopted in 2000, if I'm not remember well, is in 2006, I think. But anyway, regarding Article 11, when the police have the record, they have also the registry of the record for the police custody. They need to record the certain information, such as the name, the rank of police, the identity of the 10 person, as I have highlighted previously. And when, if needed, they will also have a general report of the police custody, as I mentioned, the same as previous. And also, they need to mention also the duration of each interview, of the duration of the break between the interviewer, the date and the time of the police custody, the time of the court decision at the end of police custody. And we would like also to make sure that this person will not be disappear. Normally, when they need to have handing over of the arrest person. I mean, in accordance with Article 103 of the Criminal Procedure Code. So normally they need to hand over those to the prosecutor or put in liberty if they find out there is no any guilty. This is what I would like to update on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. I just looked it up. It's 2016 for the law of juvenile justice. And I know that our time is running out. I'd like to make one quick remark. We also take note of Ms. Lockbiller's comment regarding enforced disappearance as an autonomous offense and how that would help with training. So we do take note of that. And we do take note of the committee's offering in assisting the Cambodia Human Rights Committee as well as the Cambodian government in providing such training in enforced disappearance. So thank you for that. I see that our time is running out, so I will stop here. I understand there are questions left, and we will surely get back to it once after clarifications. Thank you. So I now pass the floor to Mr. Chair.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir, for all of those very detailed answers. There are a few pending questions still, but you'll have the opportunity to come back to that in the second portion of the dialogue. But at this point in time, I'd like to open up the floor to the rapporteurs, and if they desire, the other committee members who may indicate their desire to speak by raising their flags, and this for a total time limit of 30 minutes. So first of all, the rapporteurs.